Horizon Forbidden West is the sequel to 2017's action RPG Horizon Zero Dawn. Taking place in the far future where machine animals roam the earth, it was a great experience, but it wasn't without its issues. Does its sequel stick the landing a little better? Well, yes, I can confirm that it does. Horizon Forbidden West's story takes place about 6 months after the events of the first game. Vicious storms and a deadly blight ravages the planet, and Aloy sets off to find a way to reverse the effects of the degrading biosphere. Leaving Meridian, her journey will take her to the Forbidden West, where she will discover new tribes, see new biomes, and of course encounter new deadly machines. That's as far as I'll go with regards to the story, since a lot of it hinges on being familiar with the events of the first game. Forbidden West does feature a little catch-up video before you get into the game which goes over the major plot points, but it's definitely worth playing through the first game to get you up to speed. The story is well told and is possibly shrouded in as much mystery as that of its predecessor. It also does a good job at answering some of the questions raised when playing the first game while also posing some new ones. What Forbidden West does well is how it builds on the cast of characters and actually makes each new addition feel welcomed. It's quite a change from the way Zero Dawn made it feel like it was Aloy versus the world. This time around, some companions from the first game and some new ones aid her in a quest, and it's a change that made me more invested in the story. When it comes to Horizon Forbidden West's gameplay, a lot of it is going to feel familiar. However, it's been refined to be a more satisfying experience. The world feels more alive and a pleasure to explore. I never once felt like I was being bombarded with things to do, since traversal feels much better. Additionally, the moment-to-moment gameplay kept me engaged, whether I was fighting off enemies or navigating handholds along a sheer cliff. The combat has also been improved and truly feels more exciting. When it comes to the machines, there is a host of new types, each with their own repertoire of moves and strengths and weaknesses. However, a big change is that each machine type now features variants when it comes to elemental type. This is no longer limited to fire and freeze bellowback, so you may encounter variants of machines with different elemental types. In addition to this, there are apex versions of machines that can hit harder, are stronger, and can take more damage. They're pretty easy to identify because their armor is generally a different color from the normal type, but they're often found with other normal counterparts, so it helps to scan machines before getting into a fight with them. Combat with human enemies is also a more enjoyable affair. Just like the machines in Horizon Forbidden West, human enemies now feature variants, with each enemy having their own respective weakness as well. Aside from there being a bigger enemy variety, Aloy also has more combos in her repertoire when it comes to close quarters combat. You no longer have to snipe enemies from a distance, because engaging them in combat with a spear actually feels like a viable option now. Additionally, there are little tweaks that make it significantly more engaging and will have you mixing up your moves as you deal with a group of enemies. Skill trees also make a return, and they're a lot more extensive than what they were in Zero Dawn. There are 6 in total: Warrior, Trapper, Hunter, Survivor, Infiltrator, and Machine Master. Depending on your playstyle, you can put skill points into the various trees, with each tree sporting nodes that unlock special abilities that can help you in a pinch. I opted to focus on Warrior, Hunter, and Machine Master to be effective in combat when up close or from a distance. Additionally, maximizing the override time for machines added an autonomous companion that could deal some serious damage when facing a large group of enemies. There's a fair amount of flexibility to play the way you want to. Of course, combat refinements need some new weapons. Aside from her bow and spear, Aloy has access to some new toys such as rapid-firing crossbows, spear launchers, and shredder gauntlets. Some existing weapons from the first game, such as the ropecaster and tripcaster, also have some new tricks up their sleeves, such as attaching canisters to enemies and deploying shields respectively. It honestly makes them much more appealing to use and will have you thinking hard about what to equip. Traversal also sees an improvement, with Aloy's focus being able to highlight handholds and climbable surfaces by simply clicking in the R3 button. It's a big help if you're unsure of where to go. On that though, the climbing has its ups and downs, excuse the pun. There are times when it feels good and responsive, and then there are other times when it just feels a little clumsy. It's a small issue in the grand scheme of things, but it's an issue nonetheless. Aloy can also swim underwater now, and not just slightly below the surface. It controls really well, plus creates an opportunity for aquatic exploration. One of the biggest annoyances I had with Horizon Zero Dawn was that there were instances where you would have to carefully navigate Aloy down a mountain or tall structure after scaling it a few minutes before. In Horizon Forbidden West, this is remedied by the inclusion of the Shield Wing, a tool which allows Aloy to safely descend from great heights since it acts as a glider. Not only that, but it can be used to launch a stealth attack from the skies. While Forbidden West has a great campaign, it also features some fantastic side content. A fair amount of the side missions are quite engaging and feature characters who have been woven into the main story. Sure, some of them you'll see later on and you'll be able to interact with them in a settlement, but there are others who actually show up in the main missions too. Some of the missions can be pretty lengthy too and may not always end after one interaction. There are actually a few that feature multiple steps and will pause and resume depending on your progress in the main story. It's actually such a great decision and makes the timing of when they take place feel more deliberate. Another new feature that I quite liked in Horizon Forbidden West is how Guerilla have made Aloy's inventory a lot more manageable. The first part of this is the inclusion of a stash which can be found in every settlement. If Aloy collects items that exceed the limit of her inventory, they'll automatically be sent to her stash. This is quite handy since you can collect crafting materials to your heart's content and then just restock when you visit the settlement. It's especially helpful when it comes to ridgewood and medicinal plants, which is used to craft most types of ammo and healing items respectively. Items in your inventory are also categorized by type, and while this seems like a small improvement, it's incredibly helpful when visiting a merchant and knowing what you can and cannot sell. No more accidental sales of key upgrade items. The game also lets you know if you don't have a specific item before you can progress past a certain point, so you don't have to do a lot of head scratching if you don't see an obvious way through. Horizon Forbidden West is an absolutely gorgeous game. There are options that favor visual fidelity or performance depending on whether you want a prettier looking game or one that runs at a smooth 60 frames per second. However, even when using performance mode, the game is utterly beautiful and it has a tendency of showing off in each one of the biomes that you'll visit during Aloy's adventure. The animations and facial capture is also fantastic. Aloy and the various characters you'll meet behave like real people. They break eye contact and look around instead of holding their gaze. The game's soundtrack is also very much on par with its visuals, delivering a really great soundtrack. Where it really shines, however, is with its voice acting. Ashley Birch does a fantastic job of reprising her role as Aloy, but the supporting cast of characters also really stand out thanks to good performances all around. Horizon Forbidden West is amazing. It really feels as if Guerilla have noted the shortcomings from Zero Dawn and set out to fix them. However, they've done such a good job at improving pretty much everything and makes Forbidden West feel like a bigger and better experience. The climbing is a little hit or miss sometimes, but other than that, it's quite fantastic. If you enjoyed Zero Dawn and are looking for a more refined and engaging experience, then Horizon Forbidden West would be a perfect fit for you. If you enjoyed this review, please hit that like button, and if you are new to the channel, please hit that subscribe button. And if you got your hands on Horizon Forbidden West, please let me know what you thought of the game in the comment section down below. I'd love to know your thoughts and opinions. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time.